So we were about to be going into another topic. So just another quote for you guys to just, you know, keep in your arsenal of quotes, because, you know, quotes are really good. It's like Bible scriptures. If you read the Bible, if you believe in reading the Bible, I'm a Bible person. So sometimes I'll go to scripture about things that I'm dealing with. So sometimes quotes are really good to use when you're having difficult situations going on. So recognizing your own progress is a huge part of feeling motivated to do more. Your brain is a great tool for your success. It is hard at work in automating the new things you are doing, even when you are taking a break. Something to keep in mind. So let's talk about the entrepreneurial mindset. Let's talk about the entrepreneurial mindset. Training your brain to succeed. Entrepreneur, not Wonder Woman. And guys, I got one for you too. I'm not going to pick on the women. Picking on everybody today. Entrepreneur, not Wonder Woman. So women, I want you guys to work on this for yourself, on your brain, right? Put this in your notepad. Don't be a rescuer. Don't be a rescuer. Let me drop my screen so I can see y'all and y'all can see me. How y'all doing? So don't be a rescuer. I know a lot of women who by nature is just rescuers, you know, and it affects their relationships. I mean, I know women who meet men and they like for years, they can't figure out why they keep meeting these bad guys. And I'm talking to them, I'm like, well, you feel like you're a rescuer? Oh, I'm absolutely a rescuer. And I'm like, you know what? That's part of the challenge. Part of the challenge is when you're a rescuer, you kind of have an attraction to situations where you can rescue. Whether it be a pet you're rescuing, whether it be a man, and sometimes you're rescuing a man. And when you're young doing that, you still stand a little bit of a chance, because sometimes a 25-year-old man needs to be rescued because he's still getting himself together. And women are naturally, for the most part, more mature than we are. So if I'm 25 and I meet a girl that's 25, she's probably more mature and she may need to rescue me on a couple different immature things that I'm doing. But when you're in your 40s and you're rescuing men, it's probably not going to be a good man for you. I'm not a relationship coach. I'm just telling you, being a rescuer, you got to know when to cut that on and cut that off. And sometimes in your business, women, you're being a rescuer in your business and you're slowing your business down. So if you're in the network marketing company, you got people on your team that you're trying to help succeed in a way that they don't even want to succeed, meaning that you want them to be successful more than they do sometimes because you're a rescuer. Or you're slowing your business down because somebody's dealing with a personal issue. And instead of you saying, hey, you know what? I got a business I'm running. I need to focus on my business. And women have a lot of focus, but sometimes being a rescuer would take them out of that focus. So I want you to really focus on asking yourself this question when certain things happen. Sorry, check this. Okay. I want you to size these things. Put this in your notes. When a circumstance comes, when somebody called you, when you realize something is going on and you feel like you want to go, you want to put your cape on. So I put that Wonder Woman out there. I know some of you women, y'all want to spin and boom, I'm Wonder Woman. I'm gonna go help. Look, you're an entrepreneur. You're not Wonder Woman. You cannot be saving everybody while you're trying to run a business. You can't have somebody working for you as a personal trainer or be a contractor and have somebody working for you and feel so sorry for you that you don't fire them and they're doing a horrible job. You can't have somebody that you care about on your team and say, well, I care about this person so much. So even though they're not doing things the correct way, I'm gonna keep spending time with this person because I really care about the person. And it's like, you could be empathetic. I can care about you, but I don't want to stop my business because I care about you. It's just not a good thing to do as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. So I want you guys to kind of lose the idea of, hey, look, I want to rescue all the time. I want you to move away from that so that you can really focus on building the business. I want you to stop being a girl boss, and I want you to just be a boss. And let me tell you why I say that. Let me give you an example of myself so you don't feel like I'm trying to take your woman independence and your identity away, because I would never do that. I'm an African-American male, obviously. I don't do the BET thing. I don't have a problem with the channel. What I mean by the BET thing is I want to watch a black movie. If there's black actors in a movie, it's just a movie. It's not a black movie. I can't say treat me like everybody else, but I'm going to isolate myself with a name tag. So I was in a chamber event maybe 4 years ago, and I corrected a guy who introduced me because I felt like he put me in a box that I didn't want to be in. And I didn't do it in a rude fashion by any means. We talked afterwards. He was offended by it, but we talked afterwards. But he introduced me, and then he says, and he's a minority business owner. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm a minority business owner? Like, I'm a business owner. Like, you don't have to consider me to be a minority business owner. Like, I'm a business owner. I'm in a chamber. I own a business. If I'm African-American, I may be considered a minority business owner because I'm African-American. A female may be considered to be, hey, I am a woman, so I'm a minority business owner. But don't label me that, and don't make me an underdog. Don't make me an underdog by making it seem like I have a crutch. I'm not. Yes, I'm a minority, right? By percentage, and I'm an entrepreneur. But I'm an entrepreneur first. The minority thing, that's numbers. That don't mean anything to me. If I want to get a loan, I'm gonna get a loan based on me having decent credit in a business that runs the way it should run. I don't need a minority loan. You guys follow what I'm saying? So I'm using you guys that I'm giving you that for an example for the same thing. Like women, you don't have to be a girl boss. Be a boss. You ain't got to be no girl boss. Like people, the presidency. We need a woman president. We need a president. If she's a woman, let her be a woman. It don't have to be the whole woman thing. You don't have to be the black president. Be the president of the United States. That's what we need you to be. So I want you guys to back off the women, to back off the girl boss thing. And when people, I'm boss. Like, I'm a boss, and I'm a boss over whoever I'm a boss over. I'm not no special, I'm not no girl boss. I got employees that are men and women and whoever. I got people on my team that come look to me for leadership, and I got men that are older than me, and I'm a woman. I'm a boss. Just be a boss. I really just want you women to be a boss. So, and I want you also, of course, the last bullet point was like, don't negotiate with your sexuality as an entrepreneur. Like, catch yourself when you're doing that. Like, don't take a button loose on your blouse because you like, you know what? Maybe it'll get me a little bit, you know what I mean? You're not going to do nothing with them, but you do it anyway. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, because when you open that door, that's what people expect. Like, give people what you bring to the table, which is your brain, right? And the fact that you really are a boss. You got to bring that to the table. Because then when somebody else says to you, hey, guess what? You know, well, you know, because you know they're going to say it. You know, if you look good, they're going to say it. Oh, well, she only getting that far because she looked good. But somebody's going to be able to say, no, she don't. That's not what she does. Don't negotiate your sexuality. Like, don't look for men customers because you're a nice looking woman. Look for everybody to be your customer. Like, just take that out of your mind. Like, you can be a nice looking woman without using that to your advantage to a point to where you're compromising, right, your sexuality because you want to be whatever, a successful entrepreneur, a boss, or whatever you're calling yourself, whatever you're looking to be. Don't do that the same way and a man shouldn't either. But I'm saying it to the women because, you know, women are more prone to that side than men are. And I'm going to get on the men next. Obviously, that's the next slide. But I just wanted you guys, I wanted the women to really get that, because what I'm telling you is you got more, you bring more to the table than that. In a minute that you start falling on all of these different things, like you start grabbing for stuff instead of it being you're confidently in that space, that's why you're not confidently in that space. So when I tell a person, you got to be confident, you got to have posture, and they say, well, I don't have confidence in posture. And I say, but that's why. Because you think you don't. Because you're not doing you're not getting the small wins, because guess what? Your posture doesn't grow when you compromise your sexuality, because even if you fooled them, you didn't fool yourself. So the reason why you don't grow more confident is because you know that that person let you win because you took the button loose on your blouse. Now, you may have gotten the contract, but your confidence doesn't grow because you may have fooled them, but you didn't fool yourself. And the problem with people doing things like that is that they think that they're going to increase their self-esteem by tricking somebody, but you're not going to increase your self-esteem because your self-esteem is yourself. So you can trick somebody else, but it doesn't grow you because you didn't trick yourself. You guys follow that? Does that make sense? Okay, so let me go Let me get the men. Let me get to the men real quick. Share my screen real fast. So let's look at the men not being Superman, right? So same thing for the men. Does your family know finances are to invest, not to flaunt, and men don't multitask well? And guess what? I promise you, with some man over there making some faces and looking upside down, if you're a man that multitask well, because I know it's 2 or 3 of them in the world. So if you happen to be on this Zoom, then I'm not talking to you. But if you like all the rest of these men, you can't multitask, right? So for men, does your family know that you're in business? And what do I mean by that? Sometimes you don't let the people know that are in your space that you are moving in an entrepreneurial space. So people expect you to do things that you really don't have time to do because you haven't convinced yourself that you're an entrepreneur yet. You haven't convinced your family. So my mother knows when she calls me. My mother already knows. Now, my mother gonna try to play me every day because that's my mother. That's what she gonna do. So she gonna call me every day in the middle of the day, even though she's not supposed to. So my mother will pick up the phone and she'll call me, and I won't answer her phone call. She knows if it's an emergency to call me 3 times. If she don't call me 3 times, I'm not gonna answer the phone. But she calls me every day because that's my mother. She knows I run a business. My sisters know I run a business. My kids know I run a business. Ask yourself this question, men. Does your family communicate with you in a way that they understand that you're an entrepreneur? I have a 24-year-old daughter and a 21-year-old son. They know that I'm an entrepreneur. They know what kind of time I have for them, what kind of time I have for my business, that I'm available for certain things that I'm not. I can tell by the conversation I have with them that they can tell. And as a man, and this is for the women too that are head of household. So if you're a woman and you head a household, the same thing. Does your family know that you run a business? Because your business running is what pays your bills. And sometimes what 9-to-5ers don't understand is when you take a day off work and you got PTO time, you still got a check coming. When I don't work, I don't get paid. So I have to be on top of everything I need to be on top of, and I don't want that to ruin my family situation. So men sometimes, they want to be Superman. They want to go out and they want to do everything. They want to they want to do something, picking their kids up from school, running the errand for their spouse, doing something for their mother, running their business, helping the issue with one of their employees all at the same time. You got a cake when you're trying to be Superman. Keep the main thing the main thing. Understand that a head of household, whether you're a man or a woman, your time is worth a certain amount of money. So let's put a number on that. Let's put a number on that. If what you do for a living really pays you out $50 an hour, let's just say whatever you do, whether you're a contractor, whether you are a network marketer, whether you own a bakery, your time is really $50 an hour. That's what you make. Is it really worth your time to cut the grass? Is it really worth your time to be washing your car? Is it worth your time to be cleaning your house? It's probably not. I've got somebody that cleans my house. And I tell people that, and they like, you bougie. And I'm like, no, I'm not bougie. Why would I not pay? The person that cleans my house, I pay them monthly to clean my house every other week. If I know I make X amount of dollars an hour, why would I stop my progress to clean my own house when somebody does that for a living and I can pay them? Why would I put on shorts and a t-shirt and go outside my house and cut my grass when I can pay a company $125 a month to cut my grass? If I cut my grass one time, I've lost more than $125. Some things don't make sense. When somebody in the family says, hey, can you pick so-and-so up from school? I'm at work, I can't get there. Guess what? No, I cannot. But what I can do is I can call an Uber for them and I'll pay the Uber. Because that Uber might cost $20. And what am I going to spend driving 20 minutes to pick them up, dropping them off at home, and 20 minutes to get back? And whoever I'm picking up probably going to want to eat, so I'm going to have to stop and do that too. So now I lost 2 hours for my business when I could have spent $25 and sent the Uber and paid for it for them. So I still helped somebody out, but I didn't lose my time. Got to keep the main thing as an entrepreneur. And if your family don't know you're an entrepreneur, they will try you because you don't carry yourself like an entrepreneur. My family calls me and says, hey, can you take care of this for me? Because I'm at work. This may sound harsh, but this is what I'm saying to them. The person you work for owns the business. And so do I. So if you go to work and clock in and do your job and I run your errand, essentially your boss just beat me. Because I stopped running my business to do something that you was doing so that you could go to work and run his business or run her business. You got to be very careful what you do with your time and what you let people get you into, thinking that, hey, guess what? You got some extra time because you work for yourself. I said, yeah, I work for myself and I'm working right now. Does that make sense? I don't have time for it. So again, does your family know that you run the business? Men, multitasking. I covered some of that already. Please, unless you got some kind of unknown infatuation with cutting the grass, please stop cutting the grass. Please stop fixing stuff in the house because your wife knows you can't fix nothing anyway. Please call a repairman or whoever you're going to call and pay them people. That's why you run a business. I'm telling you guys, as an entrepreneur, you cannot spend your time doing what other people do for a living. You stay more focused on the main thing, you make the money, and then you pay for the services. And what are you doing? You're freeing your time up, and you're supporting somebody who actually does that. Because they're running a business to do that anyway. Stop planning your own weddings. Stop doing all this crazy. I mean, people call me with the crazy. I'll be like, why are you doing that right now? Please tell me why. Tell me why at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's what you're doing and you run a business. You should not be doing that. Men, we cannot multitask. If you can, then I ain't talking to you. I probably am talking to you because you're just crazy thinking you can. But for the few of them that are out there, you cannot multitask. One thing at a time. Know what you can do and what you can't do, and be transparent, be honest with yourself about things that you can't do. I know what I can't do. I'm directionally challenged. And when I get into next week's stuff and I start talking about, because next week I'm gonna break down like how we doing these affirmations. Because affirmations are important, and I'm telling you, stop telling yourself you're not sick when you're sick, because you're not gonna cure yourself. Some of y'all doing crazy stuff. Like, if I got a cold and I say I got a cold and somebody said, oh, Dunbar, don't say that, you're speaking into existence. I'm like, no, I just sneezed, I got a cold. I'm not speaking into existence. I have a cold, and if I don't tell myself I have a cold, I'm not gonna take medication. So some of you are stuck because you keep telling yourself ain't nothing wrong, because you think if you say that long enough, nothing's gonna be wrong. So next week when we talk about affirmations, we're gonna talk about, you gotta know the difference between fooling yourself into thinking that there's nothing wrong and you not fixing yourself. And we're going to talk a little bit about that on personal development as well here in a second. So let me get my slide back up. I hope I'm helping you guys. If I'm helping you, put it in the chat box so I don't feel like I'm preaching to myself, because I talk to myself all the time, so I already told myself this stuff. So finances are to invest, not to flaunt. Men. Boy, you making some money? Put your money back into your business. Stop buying BMWs and Mercedes and all these fancy cars and getting box tickets to your football game and wherever you live at and getting season tickets. Some of you, like, you're pulling up to your business, you operate the business, and you flatline. Like, you're not really making money. If after you pay for everything, you ain't got no money, then you ain't making no money. If you don't have no money, why are you driving a BMW? Why are you driving a Mercedes? Why are you driving that kind of car? And I know why, right? I know why. I'm a man. I know what you're doing. You're doing it because you know that's what a girl gonna want to see. So that means I have money. So some of you showing off for other men, some of y'all showing off for women. Run your business and invest into your business. Your money that you're making is meant to invest into your business. It's not meant to flaunt. Can you drive a Mercedes? Guess when you're in that space, you can. I'm not saying you can't drive a nice car. I'm not saying you shouldn't drive a nice car. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take care of yourself and your family. What I'm saying is, don't use your proceeds to do it. when you got things that you should be investing in to make your empire bigger. And we've got to focus on it. It's too many men out here trying to wear an Italian, tapered up suit, a $300-400 pair of shoes, and you're driving a luxury car. And there's only something wrong with that if you can't afford to do it. If you cannot afford to be doing that, then you shouldn't be doing it. Because guess what? If I do that, hold on, give me a second. I gotta learn how to talk to y'all with this slideshow on, because I be needing this slideshow to be down. I'm sorry. So when you do that, when men, I'm talking to the men, and it's some women. I know some of y'all doing the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton, and y'all got handbags cost more than your car. I know, but I ain't talking to the women right now. I'm talking to the men. So when you fake like that, and you get that woman, you think eventually if you take her serious, she ain't gonna find out you broke anyway? I mean, so at the end of the day, I mean, you like it's inevitable what you're doing. It's inevitable. So it's like play the game like it's supposed to get played. Because if times are good right now, you should be putting the money up, because times are going to get bad. There's no doubt about that. I can't promise you a whole bunch of stuff, but I can promise you what goes up comes down. And when it comes down, what makes you last through down is that when up was going on, you wasn't buying a brand new car and buying $600-700 suits and $300 shoes. What you did with your money was you put it up when you invested into your business so that you can be in a recession-proof business when that does happen. So I'm gonna need you to focus on that. I need you to focus on your business growing the way it needs to grow. So let's hit on some personal development, because we can't be talking about mindset without discussing personal development. And I'm gonna give you a personal situation here. So personal development, you want to start with at least one book a month. Get involved in some organizations that do that. I'm in Team New Vision. We got a book a month, and I'm in another organization that has nothing to do with any of my businesses. I'm just in an organization that we read a book a month. I read 3 books a month, guys. 3 books. One with one organization, one with another organization, and guess what the third book is for? The third bullet point you see right there. What's wrong with you? So I need you guys to get this on the personal development side. Nobody knows what's wrong with you like you. So my upline platinum executive director in Legal Shield is Mike Humes, and above him is Darnell Self. Darnell Self picks the book of the month every month, right? Love Darnell Self to death. Take his advice. He mentors me, but he don't know what's wrong with me. Here in Maryland, I'm in Florida. He don't know what's wrong with me. He knows my numbers because I sent them to him when I took my test on my personality stuff. He knows that stuff, generally speaking, but he doesn't know what's wrong with me. I know what's wrong with me. So how can you have somebody else picking the book of the month for you for personal development when don't nobody know what's wrong with you but you? You got to read the book of the month, but you got to read something else. So the book I have up there now, again, is called Conquer Fear. And that book is so good because it deals with a lot of different issues. So one of the issues that it's going to deal with, the main issue for that book, is called self-sabotage. And the bad thing about self-sabotage is a lot of times it's subconscious. You don't even know that you're doing it. You don't even know you're doing it. And that book will bring it out. So for those that know me, I used to be chronically late all the time. I'll fix that somewhat because I took a class and I read that book. So that's why I'm giving you a personal situation. So in that book, Conquer Fear, it talked about somebody being chronically late and they went to go see somebody about it. One of the reasons that they said you can be chronically late is because you may have a personality that is, you like adrenaline rushes. So, and you know yourself, do you like adrenaline rush? Do you like roller coasters? Are you the kind of person that can stand on a tall building and look down and you like that rush that you feel? It gets you off or whatever. Or are you a motorcycle rider and you like the adrenaline rush of riding a motorcycle, whatever your deal is, if you're that kind of person. Believe it or not, what the doctor said in that book was, sometimes you're running late because you're not giving your body the adrenaline rush that it needs, and it's taking it by making you run late so that you get the adrenaline rush by trying to get somewhere quicker than you should. So what the book taught me was that sometimes, and obviously I like adrenaline rushes. I do zip lining and crazy stuff sometimes, right? Jump out of a plane with a parachute, because I'm like, you know what? If I die, I ain't gonna feel nothing anyway, right? So if I'm gonna go out, I might as well go out like that, right? So I like adrenaline rushes. But sometimes I'm busy and I can't do stuff. I don't do my adrenaline rush stuff. And what was happening was my body was saying, oh no, I'm gonna get my adrenaline rush. And your body will put you in a position where you're running late. And now I'm doing 85 miles an hour on the expressway, and I'm running and I'm trying to get somewhere because I'm getting that adrenaline rush that I didn't give my body. So I had to start making sure that I was at least quarterly throughout the year doing something, zip lining, or doing an airplane jump, or doing something that gives me the adrenaline rush so that my body is like, okay, I'm good, right? And then I took another class that taught me some things on being places on time, and how when you're not places on time, it's disrespectful for the person that you show up, right? So I had to read things and watch things to get better at that myself. Why? Because that was something that was wrong with me. And I don't meet Darnell Self anywhere. So he doesn't know I was late. So he couldn't give me a book of the month for that. But I knew that about myself. So you know what's wrong with you. So if you don't have a whole lot of money to buy a whole lot of books, this is what you should do. Go to YouTube. Whatever your problem is, type it in there, and I promise you somebody made a video about it. I promise you, you can type in there, my next door neighbor is an alien and they looking in my window, and somebody got a video for that. I promise you somebody got a video for that. So everything that you need to do. So I don't care, man, woman, 9-to-5er, entrepreneur, whatever you got going on, guys. You know what's wrong with you. If you're a bad spouse, if you're a bad husband, if you're a bad parent, if you got issues where you don't forgive your family members when they do stuff, I don't care what your problem is. Read some books so that you can get better, because that's really what personal development is all about. And at the end of the day, no matter what part of life that you're trying to make successful, you're gonna fall on your face hard if you're not doing personal development. So make sure you're reading at least a book a month. Make sure that you know whether you do audio or visual well, and then do it that way. If you like to read books, then order books. If you like to do audio, I'm an audio person. So I do Audible, and that's where I get my books from, and I listen to them while I'm in the car. So when I'm driving places, I've learned now I'm not listening to the radio. I'm not listening to the news. I'm not putting on anything else. I'm not putting YouTube on. I'm going to put it on audio book, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, again, I live by myself. So when I go to bed at night, I put on a book. I put an audio book on, and that's when I go to sleep to. I go to sleep every night to some book playing, because I don't want, I used to go to put on Bad Boys, right? The movie Bad Boys, just as a hypothetical. Well, guess what? I'm going to sleep, and what am I hearing when I'm going to sleep? Gunshots, cussing, sex. I'm going to sleep to that. You got to realize what that does to your brain when you go to sleep to sex and gun violence and cussing, versus going to sleep listening to an audio Bible or a book. You gotta put in what you want to come out. Now, if you want to cuss, shoot guns, and have sex, then I guess you go to sleep in the movies. But if you're looking for something else, then you gotta fall asleep to something else, if that's okay. You guys good with that? All right, so I'm almost done. I know y'all looking at y'all clock. I'm looking at mine too. Y'all know I don't finish these webinars on time either, so you should have put it in your clock. That was gonna be longer than I said. So schedule time to read, find out what's wrong with you, decide the audio, visual, whichever you do, or both. And this book, Conquer Fear by Lisa Jimenez, I would tell you, go ahead and get that book. I'm gonna tell you guys at the end, at the end of this, anybody that wants Conquer Fear, if you're interested in it, anybody that goes to my YouTube page and subscribes to my YouTube page, I'm going to pick one person out of the people who subscribe, and I'm going to get that book for them, and I'll do it Audible, or I'll do it, ship it to you, whichever way you want me to do it. So next week on this training, I'll announce whoever that person is, and then I'll send them that book. And then I'm gonna do it again also for the book for next week that I'm gonna talk about, because I'm gonna be talking about Trevor Moawad, and talking about a really specific kind of thinking where you think neutrally. It's a kind of a new train of thought that Trevor Moawad's been doing for years, and I follow him. And I'm gonna talk to you about not only because some people don't know how to think positive. I'm gonna start by getting you to start knowing how to just don't think negative. And we're gonna spend about 45 minutes next week on that topic, so you guys can follow that. So let's close with a story on entrepreneurial mindset. So I'll give you guys a quick story because we're talking about entrepreneurial mindset, and I want you guys to really focus on understanding that how you think, what you believe, what you put in your brain, that is exactly how you're going to operate. I'm telling you, I've seen it over and over again. I see it with my why board. I see it with my success board. I'm telling you things that I don't even really concentrate on, but I put on the vision board. I have, and it's funny because you will see it later on. Like you don't even realize it. Like you'll look at your success board and be like, I have one of those, and it's that color. And you won't even realize that when you bought it, when you got it, you didn't even get it for that reason. It's just your brain is working because you put it in front of your brain. So this story is about Franklin Pierce, and Franklin Pierce is a very wealthy or successful big magazine owner. And I told this story. I see that Tilly's is on the webinar. I told this story in Virginia when I was there during the Super Saturday, right before they closed the whole world down. Now we got killer hornets coming. I don't know what to do. I bet you some of these people that's out there now, they won't have to worry about, they won't be protesting when them hornets come. They're going to stay there behind in the house. So when I was in Virginia, I talked about this story. And it's interesting because Franklin Pierce, the story came up because I was listening to a speaker that I follow, and he was talking about his father told him when he was in Toastmasters, the guy was at Toastmasters and he stood in front of the room and he says, look, I'll tell you a story about how I became successful in the magazine industry or whatever. And everybody always, there's always this story, this rags to riches story, and everybody's always waiting for this. And he was like, well, when I was in school, I was in high school, knucklehead, growing up, bad grades, just acting up, class clown, just didn't do well in school. And some people don't do well in school. They're smart, but they don't do well in school. And Franklin Pierce just wasn't doing well in school. And he decided he was going to take SATs his junior year of high school. So he said, I'm going to go ahead and take my SATs. And he went and took his SATs. And he ended up scoring a 1480 on his SATs. So if anybody that knows anything about SATs, that's a big deal. We're talking about cognitive dissonance or whatever, however you say that, when you're scoring that high. So 1480 out of 1600. So he got the score and told his mother, and his mother was like, you know how moms know their sons, and, and she was like, well, you must have cheated. And he like, no, I tried to cheat, but I couldn't because the way it was laid out, I really couldn't cheat. That's really the score I got. So he got the great score. And what did he do? When he got the score, he started, you know what? I'm actually smart. And he went to school and he stopped hanging around the people that he was hanging around before. He stopped acting up in school because now he's thinking, you know what? You know how it is. He's thinking like, yeah, I'm intelligent. Let me get him from around these people and, sharpen up and start doing my homework and acting like I'm supposed to act. So he got through a junior year of high school, graduated from high school, and went to a community college. He went from community college, what school he went to? He went to Wichita State, and then he went to an Ivy League school. And did really good in school and, graduated and ended up opening up this magazine company and just being a really successful entrepreneur. Well, after all of this happened, about 12 years later, because, everybody gets audited, whether you work for the government, whether you own your own business. Well, he got a letter from Pennsylvania from the SAT to people who know the SAT program. Well, I guess they have been audited, and every so often they look at the SAT scores, and they sent him the wrong score. He had like a 730 or 740 or something like that, not a 1480. So really, his SAT scores weren't that high. Well, at this point, he's a successful entrepreneur. He runs a magazine, and he's just done well in school. He went to an Ivy League school and all this other stuff. And the point of the story is, when they said to him, man, you changed your life after you got that 1480 SAT score, like that really changed how you did everything. And he said, no, actually it didn't, because I never got a 1480. The problem was I thought I did. So when I thought that I was intelligent, I started acting like I was intelligent. So what I'm telling you guys, before you move in a specific direction to be successful in any manner, you got to think it first. This guy was just as stupid as he thought he was. I mean, just as stupid as he was before he got that fake SAT score back. He just thought he was smart, so he started acting smart. And because he started acting smart, he started making smart decisions like getting away from the wrong people. He should have been doing that anyway. But he wasn't because he didn't think he was smart. So he said, well, you know what? I'm stupid. I'm hanging with stupid people. When he thought he was smart, he got away from him. If he hadn't have got that fake SAT score back, he may have not gone to community college and then Wichita State, then the Ivy League. And he wouldn't have got in the Ivy League one if he hadn't been fooled. You guys follow me? So it was the fact that he had to fool himself to fool his brain, and he didn't fool himself. He was kind of duped by mistake. But really, you can do that in your own life because you are whatever you want to be. The difference is some of us are trying to fake it to make it, but you're really not trying to make it. You're just faking it. So if you go buy a BMW or a Mercedes or a Range Rover before you should have one because you're trying to live a specific lifestyle because that's where you're going, then that'll probably work for you. But if you go get those vehicles and you don't work any harder, it's going to get repoed. That's what's going to happen. So you can fake it till you can make it, or you can fake it and just don't make it. It's up to you. But it's really a mindset, guys. It's really about how you think because you make different decisions. When your value goes up in your mind, your value goes up in your heart. Does that make sense? So a lot of women, I'm going to mess with the women again because they have this power more than men do because men don't care who they date. Women, they don't. I'm telling you, hey, don't make me tell you no joke on this. I don't got enough time. But I'm telling you, men ain't running around talking about ain't nothing but bad women left. They don't say that. They meet a bad woman, they just move on because they just like it might have been my fault. Women are saying that because they're like, hey man, what's up with all these bad guys I run into, right? Women, let me tell you something. When you increase your self-worth, you'll find the right guy. Because the guy is going to treat you like you treat yourself. And if you act like you don't know how you want to be treated, he's going to treat you like you don't know how you want to be treated. And if the guy is going to treat you wrong anyway, you care enough about yourself that you won't stay around long enough. It don't matter how much you care about that guy. You follow me? It don't matter what you care about him, how much it hurt your heart. It doesn't matter. If that guy is not treating you to your standards, you're going to leave. That's what's going to happen. That's why you got to take care of your mind first, because all the other stuff will get fixed. Some of you can't find a good man because you don't even think enough about yourself to get a guy to think what they should think about you. And it's not that you don't have those standards, but you don't even in your own mind. In your own mind. Because you watching an Instagram girl look better than you that don't really look like that, and you thinking I don't look good enough, and she don't look like that. I heard a comedian say, y'all trying to look like Nicki Minaj, and Nicki Minaj don't even look like Nicki Minaj. She look like somebody else. So you got to start looking at not what people are portraying themselves as, but what you know what self-worth is. You know what value is. I don't need Instagram to tell me how I should look. I don't need Facebook to tell me what I should be driving. You guys follow me? So it's really, we're looking to the wrong thing to create our value and our standards, and that's what the problem is. You got to create your standards and set your mind to be successful, and I promise you, once you start that route, you'll look at all that other stuff differently. I go to Facebook and Instagram and I see stuff, and you can see through that crap. You can see through it. You can look at circumstances and say, you can see through it. I watch people all the time coming there talking about how they drop the money on the table. This is $100,000, the last video they do. You don't see them no more, they disappear. They disappear because they're making money for a season. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in being successful for a season. So you got to look through that stuff and not look at something and then think that you're not doing well because somebody is doing better. Set your standards so that you know what your standards are. You know what your standards are? That won't bother you because you already got your own standards. I know where I want to live. I know what kind of vehicle I want to drive. And when I see somebody driving a better car on Instagram, it doesn't mean anything to me because I know what I want to be driving. And it's not that. And them driving that don't make me want to drive that because I don't set my standards based on that. I don't even know how they got that car. They could have robbed the bank yesterday. You guys follow? So you don't know the story. So you got to set your own standards and you got to get your mind right. So I hope that's helpful. Okay, we're closing out here, y'all. I know I'm getting in trouble. I'm getting text messages. I'm in trouble. All right, so closing out here. So next week, we're going to be doing Train Your Brain to Succeed, Part 2, Neutral Thinking. So we're going to be covering having an entrepreneurial mindset again, more on that, more on personal development, still changing. We're going to talk about neutral thinking, which is a really heavy topic. We're going to talk about choice being an illusion. And I know that sounds crazy, but choice is an illusion. And I'm gonna preface that by telling you, you can do whatever you want, but doing whatever you want is going to limit what you can have. So just keep that in mind. And then we're going to talk about the psychology of success. So on Part 2 next week, that's what we're going to be covering. So hope you guys chime in on that. Again, the email I sent out to everybody, reminding them of this webinar. On that webinar at the top, on that email at the top, you can register for this training. And it's also going to go out again tomorrow. Remember, Facebook, Instagram, follow us there. Go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel there. And it's really helpful for me to build my base of people up, because when my book releases, I want to have as big of a following as I possibly can. So I hope I was able to help you guys today with this training. I know it's 10:30 and I'm over like 30 minutes, but and I did record. So thank you, Sharanda, for that. And you guys, look, I hope you guys use this information. I hope you do the exercises. I hope you chime back in next week so we can talk about it. And if you guys want to next week, make some time to talk about some of the things that you may be doing. But I'm telling you guys, your health and your mental health, you got to set your mind straight. A lot of stuff that y'all working on, if you get your mind together, it'll get worked out. Some of you guys are working on things that if you work on the bigger picture, you know what I mean? So lastly, I'm going to say this, even in your relationship, some of you guys got trust issues, and instead of dealing with the trust issues, you're dealing with all the symptoms of the trust issues, and you wonder why you're still having problems, because you're not dealing with the problem. So you're trying to solve symptoms instead of solving the problem. If you solve the problem, the symptoms go away. When I catch a cold, I don't buy something because I'm sneezing. I buy something to get rid of the cold. If I get rid of the cold, I stop sneezing. Does that make sense? I don't take ibuprofen when I have a cold because I got a headache. I take cold medicine because when the cold goes away, the headache will go away. Does that make sense? So you got to think about, don't treat the symptoms, treat the problem. And that's why working on your mindset is so very important, because when you work on your mindset, that is the problem. All the other issues that you have in your life, you're going to realize that 70, 80% of them will go away once you get your mind together. So do that first. Good? So upon leaving, if you guys can leave a comment before you jump off here, that'd be fantastic. I appreciate you guys for getting on, sticking with me through the whole thing. You guys have been fabulous. Again, next week, Wednesday, I believe, same time, 9 o'clock. I got it set up for 9 o'clock on Zoom. So we're gonna be rolling again next week. So appreciate you guys. And when you see it on YouTube, if you like the training, put thumbs up. If you don't, put thumbs down. Just let me know who it is so I can come after you. Oh, when this is over with. When this is over with, I'm gonna come after you.